joined a cult. I found books around the house, what to do when you think your child has joined a cult. I have a cousin who's a born-again Christian.
Yes. Were you Christian also before?
Yes. I was Roman Catholic. My family is Roman Catholic.
Yes.
Everyone else in the family to this day is Roman Catholic. But I had a cousin who was a born-again Christian, and she was telling my mother that, your son will be burning in hell now that he's worshiping the devil, and these people do this, and these people do that. And in the beginning, it was a very difficult time trying to explain things because I didn't know enough, to really be able to defend it. But alhamdulillah, my mother, before I got married, the last year before I got married, I was living in my house. My mother actually left this is going back, a little ways. She left a little postcard on my bed right before Ramadan that said, "Happy Ramadan." So you see that it's really come about to the fact that now my mother and my father actually will defend Muslims when people make comments.
And do you think it's not about as much as what you said, is about they're just observing you and the way you carry yourself and your behavior?
I'd like to think that. I'm not trying to say that my behavior has always been, we all, make our mistakes. I constantly tell my parents, don't try and base Islam on me. Base Islam on what you read into it. I can show you stuff, because I'm human. I screw up, okay, more than I would like to. But I think that they recognize there are a lot of very positive things, that have come out of this with me. A lot more positive than any kind of negative stuff.
Right. Anthony, now just to tie it all together, now as a Muslim and an educator, can you just talk a bit about the importance of people realizing the seriousness of putting your children into Muslim schools, especially here in America?
Absolutely. Well, I think that it's very critical. In this day and age, I think it's critical. And the reason why is because we give kids an excellent education in the secular arts, I'll say, okay? English, math, science, history, everything. But as well, there's the opportunity in public schools, and I know, having gone to public schools most of my life, you can't do things like say, well, what about God with this? The God is not a four-letter word, but it's close enough in American schools. You can't bring it up. In an Islamic school, you can integrate that. I can integrate Islam into my lessons. I can talk about the way that different things happen in different parts of the world, for example. And I just think it's very important because a lot of kids that are outside today, they don't, as I know that, many other educators have said, the kids today, they're into a lot of stuff that kids ought not to be.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pressure. You don't want to be the outcast, okay? Now, it's better in some schools where there are more Muslim kids in some public schools and they can create a little bit of a community. But there's still overwhelming pressure. Let's go to this party. Let's go do this. Hey, why don't you smoke this? Why don't you drink this? At the Islamic school, the essence is that by constantly reinforcing the deen on a 24-hour basis, the kids actually get
Brother Anthony, let me just ask you one more question.
Sure.
We find in some of the Muslim schools that people who are not Muslim prefer to put their children in the Muslim schools. Do you have that situation here some also?
We have had, to my knowledge, I've only been with the school for 2 years, but to my knowledge, we have had a couple of kids in the past who have been non-Muslim kids have come to the school. I would say it's a little different than sending your kid to like a Catholic school because I know I went to Catholic high school. There's religion, yes, but here, for example, okay, during Ramadan, nobody eats, okay, during the day, except the little kids.
Right.
We break for prayer during the day, okay? You have a lot of stuff, the sisters wear hijab. Whether you're Muslim or not, it's the dress code, okay?
Yes.
Whether you wear it outside of the school or not. But I think that there's a lot of people are coming around to realize the discipline that Islam gives in a personal life. And for teenagers, an era where you're really like in that rebellious mode and everything, it gives the kids an opportunity to really focus themselves. And so I think the parents are starting to realize that.
And for your school, what is the future plans for your school here?
Inshallah, we will have a large expansion.